Hey beer tubers, it's Ryan back with another episode of San Diego Beer Vlog. Thanks for joining me once again. Be looking at a beer from Port Brewing in San Marcos, California, part of Lost Abbey brand as well. And this is their Midnight Expression Lager. That's right, a lager. It's only the second lager I've done on the show, I believe. And this beer, Midnight Expression, used to be known as Moonlight Sessions Lager. So they changed the name for this. It's a winter seasonal for them, and only a 5% beer, so it's a sessionable dark lager. Well, as you can see, it's dark. I didn't mention that. Anyway, this is a Schwartz beer, which I haven't had too many Schwartz beers, but this one looks like it's a fairly highly rated one. I've actually never had this particular beer before. I've had their Hot Rocks, which is their Stein beer that they brew, and that's a darker style lager. This one kind of has that porter character that you expect from a Schwartz beer. It's actually not transparent at all. I'm not seeing any light through it. Oh, just tinges around the edges. Good amount of carbonation. Got about a 3.5 finger kind of real like mocha colored head. It's kind of that light brown color. This is a bottle conditioned beer as well, as are all of the Port Brewing beers. So let's get the aroma on it. So first off, very clean. You get some roast malts. There's some malt sweetness on there, sweet caramel notes, some roast character, touch of like earthy hops on the nose as well. Yeah, but really clean, which is what that lager yeast is going to do to beer. Just let the hops and the malt shine through without giving any esters off. So I'm looking forward to this one. Cheers. Yeah, that's tasty. It's yeah, it's very porter-esque, except it lacks those really fruity esters that you get in the porter that will give you some of those characteristics. So this one's very clean. It's fairly smooth. It's somewhat dry. It has a little bit of a lingering malt character on the background. Up front, you get some bitterness. Partially, probably coming from some hops. I'm guessing they're using some fairly earthy kind of hop character in there to kind of give it some bitterness up front. It's actually I'd say fairly like medium bodied beer. I mean, it is lighter than what you'd think for like that color of a beer, but mouthfeel is really good for a 5% beer. Schwartz beer is something you wouldn't think of sessioning much, but so far as I'm drinking this, yeah, I can say that you could definitely session this if you favor dark beers. My major complaint so far is I'd say it's got a lot of carbonation, a little more carbonation than I prefer in my beers. So that's kind of a little tough to get through on the tongue, and it accentuates the bitterness of the beer a bit more. But then once that's gone, it really smooths out and has a creamier mouthfeel to it. And you start picking up the malt character, which has little bits of chocolate and coffee in there. And then just real nice kind of roast character with a little touch of caramel notes in there. So because this is a Schwartz beer, it's got those darker malts. They tend to drink better when they're a bit warmer, and this one's been out of the fridge for only about 10 minutes or so. So I'm gonna let this warm up and come back to you in a bit. Okay, so I'm back with Port's Midnight Expressions, leaving some nice lacing on the glass. Definitely let this thing warm up a bit. Certainly more, not too warm, but right out of the fridge I wasn't getting as many flavors as I'm getting now. Some nice complexity to this beer. The earthy hoppiness kind of comes up more, leaving a really nice balance on the beer. It's finishing a little drier now, not desert dry like an IPA, but on the drier side. The malt character really just increases its flavors. There's definitely a big time roasted barley is definitely the big factor in the malt. But the more I drink, I start getting a smoky flavor in there. The caramel notes are still very subtle. They're a little more prominent when it was colder, but I'm starting to get more of a smokiness. You get little hints of chocolate and coffee in there as well. So it's a really nice Schwartz beer. I haven't had very many examples of the style. So my major complaint with this one is just, at least this bottle I have is a little overcarbonated. So it's like I want to try and swirl around, get some of that carbonation out, because once you do, it has a much better mouthfeel. It's smoother and more sessionable. It's not going to give you those, you know, big massive burps and stuff, make it harder to drink. So I'm going to go a B+ with Midnight Expression Lager from Port Brewing. A fantastic example of the style. It is slightly more American in the sense that there's definitely more earthy hop character in this than you would see in a typical a lager that's brewed, black lager that's brewed traditionally in Europe. But you know, that's the San Diego style. So until next time, please comment and subscribe. Cheers.